Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're going for a ride and a chat. Well, I'm kind of stuck in traffic, so kind of just idling and chatting. But I wanted to talk to you about some things that are really, really important. So kind of what's happening right now in the world is, of course, right now as I make this, we have the eclipse coming in just a few hours. And I will tell you, I have seen so many people kind of really revved up about this in some kind of not some good ways. So kind of really an eclipse, because it's a new moon eclipse in the sign of Aries, it is really kind of eclipsing a lot of things that people want to start new or different. And so this is a great time to take advantage of that. But I will tell you, what I've seen a lot with people is people are not feeling well. People are feeling sick, not feeling like themselves, that sort of thing. That's because, like, I hate to be truthful about it, but it's like you haven't been doing your work. You've been like letting someone else do the work for you, or you haven't been working on yourself for a while. So it's kind of like, if you're doing okay, you've been working on your own personal stuff, you've been working on what's going on with you, all of those things. So that's just kind of something like to keep in mind. It doesn't mean that you can't be okay through all of this, or you're going to get sick or whatever else forever. But I will tell you, what I've seen for a lot of people is really kind of getting sick to their stomach and which is usually kind of like things that you've brought into your system, but you haven't really integrated them into your system. I will say I've seen a lot of people with a lot of headaches, and really your head is all about your thinking, kind of like how do you think about the world, and how do you like take those thoughts in. It would be different if you're hearing, like if you're having like a headache only on one side of your head compared to the other side. So that would be kind of a little bit different kind of energy. I've seen a lot of people really going through some like pains that they normally are kind of like, it's usually not so bad, and now it's like, oh my gosh, this is really horrible. That's kind of one of those crazy energies of like, yeah, energy is really crazy out there, but it's one of those, it's kind of pointing to, what haven't you been working on? What is the part that you haven't been working on? So is it like your information that you're bringing in, but you're not like working through it? You're not digesting the information. Doesn't mean you have to do whatever the person said. It's about thinking about it and kind of integrating it into your system, like, and thinking about like, am I going to choose to put this in my system? Am I not? And so that's kind of one of those like interesting energies of like, I'm going to choose not to. They made a comment about something, or they said I should try this, and I tried it, not interested, don't want to do it. That's great. At least you've digested the information. The headache that I've seen for most people has been more like their thinking is off. And so if you've been dealing with a lot of headaches in the last few hours or a couple of days, or that you have been dealing or will be dealing with headaches in the next couple of days after the eclipse is over, this is a kind of an interesting time. Like, if this is what you're dealing with, is this what you're going through, this is one of those energies of like hanging on to that, of like, when did my headache start? What was I thinking about? What was I doing? What was I dealing with at that time? And kind of like, that's kind of pointing you to kind of like, we need to upgrade our thinking in this area and kind of really kind of rethink things. I know for myself, I've had a lot of instances coming up of just kind of like, oh, I thought I kind of worked through that. So if it comes up and it's mild, then kind of like let it on its path. But if it's more severe, then it's something that you really, really need to kind of work through and kind of get like a new resolve. Like, what am I going to do? Or how am I going to fix my thinking in this part? I've always thought this. I've always thought that. And that's kind of the interesting part of like what's coming up. How are things coming up? How are things gonna change for you? And a lot of times, I will tell you, really your thinking is everything that you're going through. It's everything. Your thinking changes your world, changes your thoughts, changes your ideas, changes your action, all of that. And that's kind of the important part to keep in mind, is like, all of these thoughts that I have in my head are changing everything else around me, so that I can make changes, so I can make upgrades. And with this new moon in the sign of Aries, it's kind of like, where is that new energy coming in at? How am I going to be making these changes? Where am I going to be making these changes? And so if you've been thinking about like a business or a new opportunity, those sort of things, that is kind of like to kind of let you know that it may be times to move this forward. Or a lot of times, like, people will tell me, like, I would say in the last 48 hours, I thought I'd do this and now I've got this headache. And I was like, so somewhere in thinking about that new business or whatever it is, there's some thinking that it's off for you. So that's what it's telling you, is like, you're thinking that you need this, but you don't need that. You need something completely different. So it's kind of like that time to think and re-educate yourself on what is the energy coming at you, what should I change or modify or do differently, and how can I upgrade my thinking. And I don't just mean like putting the positive in there, being truthful about your energy, being truthful about what you really, really want in your life or what you don't want in your life. It can be really, really important. So just so you know, we're a few hours out from the eclipse happening Central Standard Time. Hopefully I'll get this out this evening. And if you're having problems or issues, make sure you comment on this, and hopefully I can get you some better insight into what's going on around you, what's going on, or where you can change your thinking or your digestive issues, and bringing that forward so we can kind of get that cleared up for you while we still have this amazingly high eclipse energy. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.